So the basic of taking souls is when the normal human being, being in the situation that you're in, would be defeated. And the person or people with you know that in that situation, a normal human being would be defeated in that situation. And you rise above the normal human being. So it makes all the, nothing's permanent. That's why I'm always big on, you have to keep what you want to be in the front of your mind, because you're going to always lose it within the suffering. And suffering, people always hear me say suffering, it's not just physical, man.
It attracts the circumstances, opportunities, and people that align with your thoughts. Create dream boards. Put that new car on your mirror, your goal weight on the fridge. See it in your mind, feel it in your heart, and it will come to you.
A lot of things that I was hiding behind the saggy pants. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror and going like, God, dog, dude, you are something else, man. Like, you have created a character. I want to be at the cool guy table, and whatever I could do to get attention, I did. It wasn't me. It wasn't who I was inside, but I was scared for anybody to know who I was inside. So in that accountability mirror, I call it, I got real with myself. I said, you have a third grade reading level, which is hard to admit when you're a junior in high school, that you copied on every single thing you did because of fear they're gonna put me in a special school. We all know what special means. I'm gonna have a title on myself for the rest of my life. When you put that practice in, every day you lace them up, and I don't mean run, it's just a metaphor for life. When you lace them up, pretty soon you win. Pretty soon you'll win. If you have the courage and the heart and the dedication and the mindset about everybody can go themselves, the heck is gonna suck. And that's what I realized. That's what I realized. Life, that's why I wanted to come on here today. I didn't want to come on here and talk about no passion and purpose and how to get out of bed and how to hit an alarm clock and all this catchphrase bullshit. Because that wasn't how I lived. That wasn't how I lived. I woke up like every human being does and go, man, I'm a piece of shit today. How the hell is this gonna work out for me? And you fight that. And you fight that. You don't override it. There's no override button. It's the conversation in your head. So how do you do that? We don't have enough of these conversations about the real conversation that every human being is having. And they have no idea how to get out of it, but they do. It's that shit right there, man. You gotta build your will. Most people are missing something because they don't know who they are. They never examine themselves. They've never done this experiment on themselves. The lab rat, we're all lab rats, but you're also the scientist. You create your own self. Most people are missing something because there's so much trapped in there. I don't even want to say potential. I think that's word used out too much too. There's so much in you that God or wherever the hell you believe in, or if you're an atheist, in you that you have not unlocked. That you walk around with this gorgeous wife or great husband and all this money, you're like, God, I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, because it's about 75% of you is still in there, still chained up, because you just didn't want to find your willpower, didn't want to find your soul, your will, your heart, your determination, your guts, your courage. And what that looks like, it looks scary, like your little scary lab I went in. Scary about people talking shit. And it became such a source of fuel that it was amazing, because I know why you hate me. You hate me because you're probably in the bed right now. You're probably an underachiever. You're probably somebody who doesn't want to do anything with your life. So I make you question everything about yourself. So I'm going to continue making you question yourself by coming out here and being even more successful. So I listen to that while I run. I sometimes play it in the house about me, and she's like, why do you do this shit? It's half comical and it's half inspiring. I'm actually inspired by it. I've learned to study people before I react, because there's no successful person in the world who's in a good headspace that's gonna ever attack anyone in that kind of manner. There's always gonna be something wrong with them. So you gotta always dive a little deeper before you get your feelings hurt. before you get your feelings hurt by that bully at school or that boss at work, take time. Take that 1 second to pull back and study them. Because most people who are in good places, they don't care about what you're doing. They don't care about what you're doing. They don't try to destroy you. They actually will try to build you up versus destroy who you are as a person. So that's where I'm at now in life, is most people who do that, they're in a very dark, dark place. I believe that most human beings are only living at about 40% of their capability. So the mind has a governor, like a car. If you're driving a car and the car has a governor on it, the car may say 130 miles an hour, but the governor's set for 91. Once that governor sets in, you get to 91, that car starts doing this. The car wants to go. The car wants to go. The factory said, we're not going past 91. We have a factory, a nice governor in our brain, and it's a survival mechanism. It protects us from pain and suffering. The second we feel that shit, our mind says, oh no, this isn't fun. We should back off. We should sit down, find something more comfortable. And there's something about the mind. The mind has the tactical advantage over you at all times. At all times of your life, the mind has a tactical advantage over you. Why is that? It knows what you're afraid of. It knows your insecurities. It knows your deep, dark lies. And it starts to push you away from that shit. It pushes you in a direction that is comfortable. The mind controls everything. So what I realized was that when I was growing up and I was 300 pounds and I got all fat and I got all insecure, I realized that my mind kept taking me in this direction. When things got uncomfortable for me, when I was facing my insecurities, I was facing my fears, my mind said, oh no, we have the tactical advantage. We need to get you, separate you from this feeling over here. Life's all about feelings. We want the happy feeling. We don't want that feeling of this sucks. Why am I here? And you don't have any, so you can't answer those questions, so you leave. I started realizing that if in that moment you can answer those up questions and you are now in charge of your brain versus your brain ruling you, that's where all that stuff comes from. So the 40% rule is all of that. You get to 40%, your brain says, we're done. Let's roll, man. This is starting to get painful. This is uncomfortable. So you sit down. You have to figure out ways, and everybody's different. That's how the book kind of talks about, like we all have these things about, 5 steps to this and 4 steps to this. It's a lot more than that. That's all bullshit. It's a practice that you have to, it's a habit. So if you know that at 40%, I'm feeling pain. At 40% I'm feeling pain. That's where the 40% rule kicks in. Now it starts. Okay, I'm feeling pain. My mind's saying all this shit to me. It's saying, get out of here, run, flee. The fight or flight kicks in. Okay, we're done, we're not good enough. It starts telling you all these things. You start to believe it because the mind controls all. This is the time where you have to gain control back of your mind. It's okay, let me see if I can go 45%. And once you start giving yourself more and more hope and start realizing, okay, the mind starts to be, okay, what are you doing? We're supposed to be going right and you're going left. You start then controlling your mind. Start finding more in yourself. And then it goes from 40% to a lot further than that. But that's the start of it though. Get to the spot where your mind is saying stop. Wherever that is, you gotta get there first. And then that's when that shit starts to work for you. You gotta control yourself in that moment.
The suck doesn't care. Late nights, early mornings, no one claps for you, no one owes you anything. So, keep going. The storm doesn't need your permission. Armor your mind. Repetition of suffering, that's the shield. No 0 days. Miss once? Mistake? Miss twice? Habit. Never miss twice. The what if that changes everything. What if you don't quit? What if you limp the last mile and finish? What if you become someone they said was impossible? That what if is the spark. That's your fire. Emotional maturity means this. I don't care how I feel. I care what must be done.
Why most people don't want to do that, build that willpower, is because it is scary. It unlocks a whole bunch of things about who you are and who you're not. And a lot of people don't want to go down that journey to discover who they are and who they're not. Because it's not a pretty journey. I mean, I've gone down it. It's not like I went down it once I go down it all the time. And when you unlock that, and you can't just turn it off. Like people say, hey, well, how come you haven't retired yet? I built all this willpower. Do you think it's gonna let me just retire because my knees hurt? It's telling me every morning, I wake up like, man, my knees hurt, my legs hurt, my body hurts, but you can still run. So why aren't you running? If you can still run, there'll be a time when you can't lace them up anymore, but you can still run. So I still run. When the time comes I can't run, the body will say, you just can't run. But if I can still do something, that willpower that I have created, it makes me do it every day. And that's what they don't get. What builds a human being is you start with the small building blocks. And before you know it, man, you become something that it doesn't even make sense to most people because it's just who you are now. That's why I can still run at 50 at 49 with broke down knees and broke down body, because my body knows you still can. Therefore, I do. Second you stop, the willpower is gone. You know why people connect with my book so well? For some reason, God put me in almost every situation on the planet Earth. So when I talk to people, it's not sugar-coated, because I'm not saying it from I was 175 pounds my whole life. I don't say much to those people. Maybe you're a piece of shit. Maybe you want to be nobody. Maybe you're happy exactly where you are in life, because obviously you are. Maybe you don't have the determination to be somebody better than who you are. And if you want to live with that, I'll support you in that. If you're good with being who you are, that every day you wake up and every day you smell like shit because you can't wash your body well, and your skin's messed up because your health's so bad, and you can't put your clothes on right, you need help with that. You need help, like when I was training, I need help wiping my ass. That makes you feel good? Nothing I can say to you. If every day you wake up with this, see, people are haunted, but they obviously like horror films because they keep watching the same movie. I don't like horror films. A lot of people like horror films. So I don't say much to them. I say exactly what I said to you, right there, because I was once you. I didn't like horror films, so I changed it. Some people are just, they become, like you said, it gets real small when you're lazy and you're fat. Your will, their will is so small that they don't have any, and you can't give it to them. There has to be something. This is what I'm talking about now, because this isn't a hack. This has to be in you. Something in you has to wake up. And usually the only person that can wake it up is you. Sometimes you can read a David Goggins book, because I was all this shit and then a lot more.
The pain you can't escape. You think it hurts now? Try regret. Try waking up at 50, realizing you traded your dreams for convenience. Try looking your kids in the eyes and saying, I could have been more. And voice whispering you can't? That's not reality. That's fear. Fear of your own power. Fear that you might actually win. But here's the secret. You're not afraid of failure. You're afraid of how great you could be. The antidote: discipline, not motivation, not luck, not good vibes. Discipline is the currency of legends. You don't feel like grinding? Do it anyway. You're tired? Rest when you're dead. The world says quit, laugh, and push harder.
Well, discipline was huge, but then we always fall back on what's comfortable to us. What's comfortable for me was, if it's easy for me, I'm gonna do it. And so when I was going through pararescue training, I ran up against an obstacle that I didn't think I was gonna run up, and it was the water. I hated the water. But I tried hard to get over that. And I would go to the pool and I would try, but my mind wasn't strong enough. David Goggins, even with all the discipline, I didn't have that next level. When you're truly committed to something, not like where you I want to be a doctor, but when I run into this roadblock, I don't want to be a doctor. No, I'm going to be a doctor come hell and high water. I needed that kind of commitment. And David Goggins didn't know about that commitment. I knew how to wash a car. I knew how to clean a house. I knew how to, do all these manual labor jobs. But when it came down to true suffering, to the highest of suffering, I didn't have that next level of, we have this next level.
Fear is not your enemy. Submission to fear is. Doubt is not your weakness. Believing in doubt is. The prison isn't the world around you. It's the mind that accepts chains. Free yourself. Mood is a lie. Duty is eternal. You think lions check the weather before they hunt. You think storms ask permission before they rage. There is no right time. There is only now. Your knees ache. Your hands shake. Good. That means you're alive. Now, act like it. Anger is a spark. Discipline is the steel. Let them burn hot and fade. You stay sharp. To live, you must first die. Die to excuses. Die to weakness. Die to the person you were yesterday. The Spartans didn't cry about motivation. They sharpened their spears. The Stone Age didn't have therapy. It had survival. Modern comfort is a trap. Suffering is the whetstone of greatness. The world doesn't end when you bleed. It ends when you surrender.
How to armor your mind. Repetition of suffering. Do the thing you dread daily until it becomes your identity. No 0 days. Miss once, a mistake. Miss twice, a new habit. Never miss twice. Self-talk that's real, not fake hype. Remind yourself, I've done hard things before. I'll do this too. Immature. I'm tired. It's raining. The world's unfair. Mature. I don't care. The mission doesn't stop. Your emotions dictate your motion. Control them, or they control you. Every morning, you choose. Stay in bed and rot and regret. Get up and build your empire. Complaining about no breaks? You are the break. You're the walk. And every day, life tries to erode you. Will you let it? Or will you stand unshaken, hardened by discipline, sharpened by struggle, and ready to claim what's yours? No more talk, just do.
Where I don't really think about your feelings. I don't really care about what you think or what you think about me, or if you're soft, if you're weak, if you're hard, if you're an alpha, if whatever the hell you are. I just don't really care. And I'm going to say what I believe is going to get you better.
I believe that you have to build belief. Belief is like, there's an after school special belief where the mom says, believe in yourself, and that's all great, but there's also a built belief. And the built belief is one where you are constantly, like for me, I came from a bad place. How I build belief is through the daunting tasks I put myself through. So that's proof positive that I can. So it correlates. And that's how this piece of shit kid that I once thought I was built belief by saying, I was in 3 Hell Weeks. I went to Ranger School. I tried out for Delta Selection.
Undeniable stack of proof.
That is proof, Mucker. So whenever you think you can't, confidence comes from the thing that you built. You must build belief. You must build confidence. It can't be like, hey, I'm gonna go knock that shit out. You gotta look over here and say, I can knock that shit out. It's belief, and it's built on what you put in to yourself. So if I can help you build belief, build confidence to the point where nothing can hurt you because you know exactly who you are. You've faced your demons. You've been able to go on an audiobook in your mind. Maybe you didn't write a book, but in your mind, you were able to hear all your past traumas. You were able to listen to them. You're able to say, okay, now I can now talk to people about what I went through. I'm no longer embarrassed. I'm no longer ashamed. Being ashamed is one of the biggest things that kill people nowadays. In their minds, kill them from moving forward. I'm ashamed of myself. Don't ever be ashamed of anything you've done in your life. Face it, fix it, make it better. We are humans. But then again, if you always think that we're humans, you will always just be a human and always make the same mistakes. You must take this knowledge that you learn from all this shit is knowledge. So I'm just trying to give people that strength to go in the archives of your life, because while you're probably up, it's probably something happened to you in your life. Go through the archives, dig it up, study it, and then use it for yourself. That's the main purpose for me right now.
Hope is bullshit. When I was going through SEAL training, a lot of people hoped that they would pull us from that cold water. Man, hope ain't gonna get you shit, because it's not in your hands. Hope is not in your hands. You can't control hope, man. You can't. It's just hopefully this thing happens. But when you get belief, when you start to create belief, and belief isn't like an after-school special. Most people think, oh man, like your mom and dad, you need to believe in yourself. Sesame Street, when I was growing up and shit, you need to believe in yourself. That's not the belief I'm talking about. It's the belief that you harness through hard work and dedication. And it's something that you know what you are capable of because you've gone there several times in those dark times. So my belief, why I kept on going back to Navy SEAL training and going back to all these different things, not because I hoped training would get easier. It's because I believed I could make it. Through the training I put myself through, I just wasn't doing and executing as I should. And I knew that. It was all on me. So then when I put that belief into work and that hard work came to fruition, everything happened for me.
People think motivation is enough. They say, I'm not feeling it today. Let me tell you something. Motivation is a luxury, and you're in war mode. You don't need motivation. You need a mission. You don't need inspiration. You need obsession. That's why when they ask, why are you so crazy? You tell them, I'm trying to be the best for you. Not because it's easy, not because it's fun, because this is who the hell I am. When you quit, your mind shuts down. The door closes. You live with regret. But when you say, no, I stay in this pain.
Broken. But you have to learn how to fail. I'm not going back. And I went back. I'm not going back, and I went back. I'm not going back, and I went back. It showed me even more of what we have as humans, if we're willing to go there and we're willing to push that extra step. And like I say, I always tell people, a lot of people, man, how do you do what you do? At the end of the day, I ask myself one question: can I take one more step? And usually the answer is yes. So if you can answer that question and not take another step, that is real failure. That is real quitting. So a lot of people can take one more step, but they choose not to. I don't know if you can take 2 steps. You got to answer that question after you take the first step. But I can always take one more step, so if I choose not to, that's on me. And I got to live with that.
This is what I need every day in my life. I don't need someone to say, good job, David. I don't need a pat on the back. Everything became internal. I started feeling this feeling I never had before. Like I thought I was a born loser. And just cleaning a tire and cleaning the car to the best of your ability changed everything. Raking a yard and not leaving one leaf. Not one leaf. And then one would fall and I would get that one leaf. It just became something that was like, okay, I see dirt, don't pass the dirt, clean the dirt. It just started absorbing, and before you know it, man, it just morphed into a man that was like, we gotta get it done regardless. David Goggins wasn't enough. So I went into my mental lab and realized, but I want to be great, but I don't have greatness in me. So I had to create a career that was great. And in my mind, I'm really big on visualization. And people might think it's all kind of bullshit, but I don't give a shit. This is the true shit right here, man. I went in my mind, I said, okay, I want to look like this, I want to feel like this, and I want to have a mind that can cast iron steel, that never dull, that is always sharp. That was the biggest thing I wanted. I wanted to hit obstacles that most people up, including myself, but I didn't waver. I didn't fear. I didn't run away. I just stayed and marinated in the fear, in the suffering. And through that, building Goggins, I will become Goggins when necessary. And I started to do these things on my own. I had my own training ground. I built a training ground. I wasn't Navy SEALs. If you go to Navy SEAL training not prepared, you're gonna quit. So I built this training ground on my own. And I started doing these horrific things that David Goggins couldn't handle. But Goggins started slowly coming up. I started putting that visualization of the guy I wanted to create. And in that water, when things got hard, and I was training on my own, Goggins would appear. Goggins would appear. When David Goggins would come up, Goggins would smack him down and say, no, we're gonna drag you through this. And that's kind of how it happened over a period of time. This man evolved. Goggins became the guy that can withstand all kind of torture and pain and keep coming after you. And that's where that next step with evolution became.
There's a war happening right now. Not outside, inside. Inside your head. And the enemy isn't fear. It's not pain. It's not laziness. It's your own mind telling you, stop, slow down, stay comfortable. Most people, they fold right there. They hear that voice and they obey. They stop when it hurts. They back off when they're tired. They quit when it sucks. But not you, because when you say, I'm not going anywhere, that's when your mind opens up. It expands. It grows. That's the 40% rule. Most people live at 40%. You keep going when your body says no. You tape the pain, strap it down, and keep fucking moving.
That's how they failed in that one moment. And they can't even enjoy their life now because they're now warm. They're now warm. There's no more suffering. There's no more suffering for me either. And we're in the same boat now. But you're suffering, so we're not suffering, but you're thinking about what you could have been. I am exactly what I should have been. And that's where people start to lose it. Because now I realize that in that 1 second. I go through all that. I know how it's gonna feel because I failed so many times before. Failure is the ultimate thing, man. I failed so many times before. That's why I don't look at failure.
A lot of young people who fall back on their childhood when their childhood wasn't good. He never said any of this though. It was through his actions, by not feeling sorry for me, by how he worked me like a dog, that it came to me that this is what life is. Life is a training ground. And like going through Buds and Ranger School, very few people make it through. While you may live a long life, it doesn't mean graduated at the top of the class. You just lived a long, boring, despicable life. And that's not what I wanted to do.
It's the worst pain I can't even describe the pain of that last 30 miles to anybody. No one, it's very hard.
Whole body?
Whole body. So when it ended, I'm literally dizzy going up my stairs to get to my house. I have my arms wrapped around her, going up the stairs, and every flight of stairs, I have to lay down because I can't stay upright for too long or I'm gonna pass out. So I finally get in the house, and when I get in the house, I'm once again on the floor. I'm in the kitchen on the floor, just laying there. I finally make it to the bathroom, into the tub. I get rolled in the tub, and she puts the water on me. I'm just laying there with the water coming on me. And what I pee out looks like Coca-Cola. And I'm laying there in the worst pain of my entire life. I'm shaking, I'm jacked up. And all I could think about was, I can't believe what I just done. Because when you get to 70 miles of a race and you felt the way I did, to me, it was humanly impossible to even think about going 30 more miles in that shape. And once you do it,
That's where it begins. Because if you're waiting for a savior, someone to hold your hand, that person ain't coming. No one's bringing you discipline. No one's installing belief in your system. If you've ever been at rock bottom, wiping your own ass with shame, begging life to throw you a break.
So I'm with my pacer, his name is Mike, and I see this porta potty of sorts, and I'm like, I just need to get off the course. So I lie to Mike, I'm like, hey man, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I go in this outdoor house. So there's a bathroom in it. So I went in there and I'm in there and I'm thinking, I'm like, God, man, I just wish I would fall into the toilet. You know, like big sinkholes? I just wish I'd fall in there, man, and maybe I'll break my leg, or maybe something would happen where I can't finish the race. And as I'm talking to myself like this, out of nowhere, Goggins appears in my mind. He's like, man, are you really talking like this, bro? Imagine if you were to be able to have people hear your dialogue right now, man. You came out here in 2019 and this course kicked your ass. And all you wanted to do was come back here. You trained knees. You put so many miles in. You visualized all this. You've run this course a million times. And now you're in a porta potty like a little fucking bitch, whining and crying to yourself, lying to your pacer that you got a shit. So basically, what happened was Goggins got a hold of me and knifed David Goggins and stuck him in that porta potty, and Goggins came out. And when Goggins came out with 40 miles to go, a 240-mile run, it was the most epic ending of any race I can remember. That last 40 miles was something that I can't even describe. But what I will tell you is, once again, it shows you what the determined mind can do. There's no David Goggins. There's just David Goggins. And that's what people don't get, man. David Goggins just changed his mindset in that porta potty. My feet still hurt. My back was still aching. The pack was still heavy. Everything was the same. The only thing that changed was how I approached the situation. I no longer wanted to be a victim of that race. A victim in my mind. I wanted to dominate when most people would refuse to dominate. I wanted to dominate under the most harsh environment.
The world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards outcomes. So don't say you want it, show you're willing to bleed for it. Because when it's hard and you keep showing up, that's when your mind starts to believe you again. Go to the dark room. One with no noise, no dopamine, no distraction. Just you and the mirror. Ask it the hardest question of all. Am I living up to my potential? If the answer is no, and go ghost, disappear, vanquish every excuse, and go build something they can't take away. Because it's not your fear of failure that's holding you back. It's your fear of change. And yes, life will get harder before it gets better. But it will get better.
I watched all those Navy SEAL instructors who had gone through Hell Week, and now they're putting me in my class through Hell Week. I'm watching all of them because they all know at Wednesday we're all defeated. Everybody's up on Wednesday, and it's Wednesday. But I got the information. I know where you were on Wednesday. And I know what you're thinking. I should be at Wednesday. I should be up as you are. I'm not going to give you that. I'm going to show you what Wednesday is for me. Wednesday for me is not Wednesday for you. And so when I did that, I saw the instructors' faces when I was drunk. I was at hour 80, 90 of Hell Week. I was like at minute 1. It was like Hell Week had just started. So why you take someone's soul, because they don't know how you're able to do this, at that state of mind, that state of being, that kind of cold and misery, but you find more when no one else can. A smart human being will see that and you will elevate them. And that's what I did to my boat crew. My boat crew was up, but they saw my elevation. So they said, if this guy can do what one man can do, another can do. So they elevated themselves. But as my boat crew elevated, I saw that everybody else was like, what the f*** going on? And so we used all of that ammunition, all those sad, long faces, all of that like questioning, what the f***? And we used it for even more ammunition. So taking souls is when you put yourself in an environment that most people won't succeed in, and you thrive in that environment.
Be selfish, be obsessed, be relentless. You owe it to your future self to go all in. This isn't about being inspirational. This is about being unbeatable. Now, go dark and don't come back until you've become someone they cannot recognize.
If you sit in failure for too long, you will never come out of it. So the first part of my success was learning how to fail properly. You have no fucking idea how great you really are, because you are using such minimal of what you have. It became a way of living. So how I do every day is how I do every day. It's a discipline, it's a regimen, it was a choice I made. And the choice I made was, what are you willing to sacrifice, and what are you willing to give up to find every bit of who you are as a human being? And I was willing to give everything to do that.
Pain is temporary. It might last a minute, an hour, a day, or even a year, but it will fade. Quitting, that lasts forever. Every failure is just a lesson to pick yourself up and keep going. My mom once told me, get a job. I said, I already have one. I'm working on my dream, even if I'm not paid yet. Why give energy to your nightmares when you can pour it into your dreams? Yes, it'll be hard. You'll be tired. You'll doubt yourself. But those hard days are what turn your vision into reality. So, decide. Are you down for the ride? Stop complaining. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. That moment doesn't exist. You create it. Every hour you waste could be spent hustling, reading, meditating, or getting your life together. The thought of being in the same place 4 years from now should light a fire under you. Live like tomorrow doesn't exist. Don't fear failure. Fear not trying. You're not happy settling for a forgettable life, enslaved to short-term impulses. You know you're capable of more, so do something about it today. Get off the dopamine drip of video games, Netflix, and junk food. Choose to become someone you're proud of.
And you have to first be uncomfortable with how you feel about yourself. With that voice that a lot of us like to run away from. We all have it. We all have that voice that's saying, hey man, you're kind of wimping out right now. You're kind of being a little punk right now. But a lot of us say, okay, that's okay. It's okay to tell these little white lies to ourselves. So we first have to face the real you. The real me is David Goggins. The real me is a guy looking at you right now saying, I don't want to be on this show right now because I used to stutter as a kid. And I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid that here in a second, I'm going to start fucking stammering and stuttering, and the whole world is going to know that I have all these issues. But that's when I see right now, okay, Goggins, you got to go on the show. That's Goggins. Goggins is saying, okay, David Goggins, you're a punk. Life made you this way. We can't live like this. We can't live in fear. We can't live in judgment. We can't be afraid of what people right now are looking at me saying about me. We cannot be afraid of that. That's Goggins. Goggins saying, all of you who don't like me, who don't want to, and that person then comes in. But you have to be David Goggins and say, man, I'm afraid of this, up here. Life made me this way here. I stutter. I have these issues with reading and writing, and I'm fat and I'm insecure. You have to face that in that dark room. In that dark room is who you are. But in that dark room is where you have to create another human being that walks out of that dark room to face who you are. That's the only way you're going to get over all those things. You have to create someone else. Not like you have two different personalities. It is you. But you have to find strength. In that visualization of almost me cracking out Goggins, like almost like that Superman cape, like I'm coming out a different person, a person that doesn't give a fuck about anything, who doesn't care about being judged, who knows I'm weak, who knows I'm afraid, who says, whatever you think about me, take it, whatever, I'm here. That's Goggins.
What do you think most people get wrong about motivation?
They think it's a permanent fix. They think it's something that is a constant. They think that maybe once I get it, I'm gonna hold on to it. And that's the thing about that I was telling you, that I always talk about, nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And a lot of times you have to learn to perform without motivation. You have to learn to perform without purpose. You have to learn to perform a lot of different things. And that's what people think. They think I need to have this motivation to work out, to study, to be better. So if they don't have it, they just don't. And that's where you fail. You have to learn to train your mind well beyond motivation. If you have motivation, that's great. That's some kindling to the fire. All it takes is a little spark, you can burn a whole forest up. But motivation, you have to learn to exist without it. You have to be your best self when you're least motivated. And that's the tricky part about all that shit. Motivation is just a word. You have to have these different things in your mind on where you want to go and know that motivation is not going to get me there. Because I'm not going to always be motivated.
Don't let pride or ego hold you back. You know better, so do better. Stop blaming others when things don't go your way. Your attitude determines your altitude. You could be on another level if you just commit. Imagine a documentary crew filming your success story right now. What would you do? You'd stop overthinking, stop debating, and start doing. The weights won't lift themselves. The book won't write itself. Your dream won't chase itself. Take that first step now. Risk failure, risk ridicule, because the greatest risk is doing nothing. Only those who dare to risk are truly free. And when the devil comes at you, know it's because you're doing something right. Keep grinding, keep pushing, and watch your competition fall off. Give it a year. You'll be laughing. Yo, listen up. You've got one shot at this life. One shot to control your destiny and build a life you're proud of. Spending years grinding for a life you truly want is 1,000,000 times better than settling for a quick fix that leaves you disappointed forever. Playing it safe might feel okay now, but when you're on your last breath, the regret of flowing away your potential will haunt you. I'm not here to let that happen to you. You were placed on this earth for a reason, not to be average, but to excel, to shine, to become a beast. So, promise me this. No matter how long it takes, no matter how much it hurts, keep going. You've got greatness in you, and this grind is what's gonna carve it out.
So in my book, I talk about it a lot. It was my junior year in high school, and I fell back a lot. I fell back in this hole of life. The second you think that you've overcome it, you climbed Everest, you're on that last hold, and life will say, not today, and it'll push you down. And my junior year in high school, I missed a whole bunch of school, was lying to my mom, had like a 1 point something GPA. I was just jacked up. I mean, I was in one of the worst spots in my life. And my mom was going through a lot of shit too, and she didn't have time to sit back and baby me. And it was me against me. My pants were down to my knees. I was not, whatever was going on, I was in bad shape. So I went to the bathroom and I had this weird haircut because I wanted attention. I was an attention getter. I went to an all-white school pretty much. Some of the kids liked me, a lot of them didn't like me, whatever, it didn't matter. I was looking for something, so I would dress differently, crazy haircuts, and I went to the mirror and the reflection in it revealed a lot of bad things. And being cool, you don't have a title on yourself. So I started cheating. I was dumb. And people say, oh, you know, you have a learning disability. I had a learning disability, but I realized I was lazy. So I called myself out there. I called myself out every which way possible. I didn't call myself out, I was just honest. I was honest. Look at yourself, man. Look at yourself. And it was that day, and a couple other days after that, I just got real with myself. And every day I came home, I called the accountability mirror. What am I gonna do today to change what I see in this mirror? What am I gonna do today? And a lot of it was, I stopped sitting with the cool guys. I actually tucked my shirt in and went to school looking like, hey man, this is how I'm gonna look. If you don't like it, so be it. I had to really wear this layer of skin. I had to develop a really callous skin on me to take whatever you're gonna call me, you're gonna call me. Whatever I'm gonna be, you know, I want a geek, but whoever I am, you're gonna see me. You're gonna see me for who I am, because I need to change who I'm not. And that accountability mirror just became raw. And when I became fat over the years, because I fell back in the hole, I called myself fat. because I was fat. And people don't want to do that. They want to say, oh, don't call yourself fat. Don't call yourself dumb. If you're not real and raw with who you are, nothing's going to change. And in this nice new world that we live in, we want to hear, you're just a little big. No, man, you might be fat. And it's okay to hear that from yourself and from everybody else. So that's where it started at. And it's raw. It gets ugly sometimes with me in that mirror, but I'm also proud of myself to be able to tell myself that and then fix what's in that mirror. So the first thing about it is, once you realize it, and you have to realize it, you gotta call yourself out. Addressing it is very small. It doesn't go from like one morning, this way, next morning I wake up and presto, 5 steps to greatness. No, it ain't that, brother. You read my book, this is hard work. It's every day, like right now. I had to be honest with you, man. I'm even shaking right now being on this show. I'm a big time introvert. How you address it is you face it. You face it every day. You face it every single day of your life, where you say, okay, like if you're fat and you need to lose weight, it's patience. It's patience in this.
Would you give up a year of comfort to earn a lifetime of power? Most won't. They'd rather suffer for 10 years than grind for 1. Not you. You're done suffering. You're done surviving. Now you attack. This isn't about self-help. It's about self-destruction. Destroying the weak, distracted, scared version of you and rebuilding the beast who was always inside. Disappear for 6 months. Bleed in silence. And reappear with scars, trophies, and receipts. And when they ask where you've been, just smile and say, I was busy becoming the person you couldn't ignore. Don't just think you are. Know you are. This is the fundamental truth. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. Ask for what you want and be prepared to receive it. The laws of success. You become what you think about most. You attract what you feel. You create what you imagine. Visualization is the key. If you can see it in your mind, it must happen. That's a universal law. Success isn't about what you're getting, it's about what you're becoming. True happiness lies not in what you have, but in who you are. The universe responds to your thoughts and words. Every thought you think, every word you speak, shapes your experiences. Believe in your vision, and the universe will send it back to. Albert Einstein said, imagination is everything. It's the preview of life's coming attractions. Your imagination isn't fantasy, it's real. If you can think it, it's possible. God placed that vision in your mind as a preview of what's to come. Act as if. Feel as now. You can't create from lack. You must create from the feeling of having it. That's the shift. Most people want it but feel separate from it. The greats, they become it in their minds first, and the world follows. Success is a vibration, a frequency, a state of mind. Feel it now. Live in it now. Speak as if, think as if, move as if. Because when you commit, fully, emotionally, relentlessly, the universe rearranges for you. You'll attract opportunities. You'll meet the right people. Doors will open, but only when you become the person who can walk through them. Well, waiting. What is the second best? I believe that you become the person who can walk through them, but past in the world, 1B. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest teachers throughout history have unanimously agreed on one powerful truth. We become what we think about most of the time. Your thoughts shape your reality. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. This is the law of attraction, a universal principle that dictates your life. Success isn't something you chase, it's something you attract by the person you become. It's not about the $1 million, it's about the character, discipline, and relationships you build to get there. Honesty, hard work, and clear priorities. These are the qualities that set you apart. There's no nobility in poverty. I've been rich, I've been poor, and I choose rich every time. Why? Because when I face my problems as a rich man, I do it with confidence. Pressed in a $2,000 suit, arriving in a limo. So, set a goal to become a millionaire. Not for the money, but for what it makes of you.
You don't need a hack. You don't need a hero. You need to start listening to that voice again. The one that tells you, get up, shut up, show up. This ain't who you were meant to be. You weren't born to break. You were born to become. That voice, it's not your enemy. It's the only part of you still fighting. So the next time it whispers, this ain't you, bro, don't run. Follow it. You ever feel it? That whisper in the dark? That quiet voice inside your head saying, this ain't you, bro. That voice doesn't lie. It knows every excuse you made. It knows every day you hit snooze, every mirror you avoided, every goal you gave up on, and it still believes in you more than you do. See, your comfort will always beg you to stay soft. But that voice drags you toward the pain, toward the truth, toward the version of you that was written on your soul before the world broke you. Most people drown it out. They let life sedate them. Likes, distractions, numb comfort. But you heard it. And even if you didn't want to listen, you knew. The answers are over there, in that dark corner, where no one claps, where no one sees. People will call you obsessed. They'll say you're extreme. They won't understand why you're at the gym after 13 hours of hell. Good. That means you're doing it right. Real greatness is remembering every shot you missed, every time you held back, and being haunted enough to never let that happen again. You're not training for today. You're training for when life punches you in the face. You're callousing your mind so when the 2 a.m. call comes, you don't fall apart. And if you're still waiting for motivation, stop. There are no hacks. There's no savior coming. There's just you, your pain, your fear, your choices, and your purpose. Oh, wake the hell up! There's no soft version of this. No shortcut. No pity. No reset button. It's you versus you. Every second. Every decision. Every day. And if you don't like that fire inside, nobody's going to do it for you. So shut off the noise. Kill the excuses. Get up. Disappear for 6 months. And make your demons choke on your discipline. You want the truth? Then sit down. Because this isn't a highlight reel. This is the raw footage. Unfiltered, uncomfortable, undeniable. You're gonna be unhappy sometimes. You're gonna feel lost, weak, screwed up. That's human. But the power starts the moment you say, who am I really? What do I actually want from this life? Why am I afraid to admit the truth? Until you're honest with yourself, you're faking progress. See, people love the planning phase because it's safe. But execution? That's where dreams die. That's where you meet failure. And most people quit there. Because that's when it gets real. You want to get better? You're gonna have to go to war with yourself. Over and over. Run when no one's watching. Lift when your soul is tired. Study when your brain is broken. Work when it's boring. And fight when your spirit says stop. Not once, every damn day. You don't get the dopamine from likes. You get it from doing the work in the dark. 2 a.m. runs, empty gyms, no applause, no validation. Just you in the mirror, fighting for belief. You say you want change, but when that alarm goes off, you roll over. You say you want discipline, but when it's time to suffer, you make excuses. You'll never change your life until you say, I don't care how I feel. This gets done. You don't need a plan, you need a mirror. And you need to dominate the voice that's killing your potential. The voice that says you've done enough. You deserve this break. Start Monday. You're not like them. It's too late. It's too hard. Lies. That voice isn't your friend. That voice is the enemy. Real growth, it lives in the places you hate, in the workouts you don't want to do, in the skills you think you're too dumb to learn, in the reps you want to skip, in the fear you won't face. And when your mind says quit, you say, because you said that, we're going double today. You don't need a new plan. You need to stop negotiating with weakness. You don't need a new gym. You need to show up in the one you already paid for. You don't need a new life. You need to master the one you're in. Be the one, not the 9, not the 80, not the 90 who spend their life wondering what could have been. Your alarm is your battlefield. Your mind is your opponent. Your standard is your sword. And discipline is how you win. Now go suffer and grow and suffer more until the weak voice dies and the warrior takes his place.